Sean, you're going to do personnel resolutions 110 and resolutions 110. Oh, no, you're finance. I'm sorry. You're going to do finance. So you're going to do this under finance. No, you do it under finance. Okay. All right, then you're going to do personnel. You're going to do personnel. Okay? Okay, I think we need a roll call. Again, Mr. Caputo, please.
Mr. Balsamo?
Here.
Mr. Carnicella?
Here.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin? Here. Mr. Ferrara?
Here.
Mr. Klein?
Here.
Ms. Russo? Here. Mr. Scalera?
Here.
Ms. Sherman? Here. Mr. Kaczynski?
Here. Thank you for your indulgence. We will go right into the superintendent's report.
Ready to leave? Thank you, Mr.
Lazarik.
We're good, okay. Just first and foremost on our list, there were two really big pieces, we called them three. The first was the order from Mr. Cosma. I'm happy to say we went to settlement hearing and it was the longest morning of my career to this point, but came to a satisfactory outcome, so looking forward to seeing that resolution on the agenda tonight. The other piece was, we were notified by the Department of Education regarding our student growth percentile scores, how our students did compared to everyone else. And there will be a full presentation this when we get the complete set of data, including our median school growth percentile, student growth percentiles. But I wanted to let folks know that on average, once a number like that is set, especially in districts of our size, they look for, or they consider anywhere from 2.5% to 3.5% change, an enormous amount of change, either in one direction or the other. I'm happy to report that our language arts scores went up by 13%, and our math scores went up by 10.5%.
This is what I wish we had a bigger crowd of.
Well, we'll do a larger presentation, obviously, but with the program coming in, with our administrators working, obviously what the teachers are doing, it's important to note that this is growth. So this is how our kids did compared to the other kids around the state. And we moved significantly from an area along the continuum we did not want to be in toward the middle. And again, just like our AP scores, I think if we stay the course and keep supporting our teachers and make sure that numbers stay appropriate and resources stay in their hands, you see that kind of continued growth, we can absolutely be the district that we know we should be. And so I just want to applaud everyone's work in that. Another piece.
Thank you to the teachers.
Absolutely. Our athletic website, Mr. Pyro monitors the website every month. Well, he doesn't monitor, I'm sorry. That would be overstating it. Mr. Pyro receives an email from the company we contract out with who monitors the website. And obviously they're a national organization. We contract with them to be able to advertise and the rest. And for the last 3 months, we've been in the top 3 in the country as far as hits. Over 10,000 visits each month for the last 3 months. So we're getting a lot of good feedback from people because the information is there. The one piece of negative feedback we had from the community was when someone went to the old site, which has been disabled. So again, just a lot of interaction, a lot of activity, and hopefully good communication about our athletic program, so we're looking to see that continue. Reminder to all that our March Madness basketball tournament is this weekend, 17, 18, 19, right here in middle school. Looking forward to some high-intensity competition. The Academic Booster Club, of course, because we married that weekend, is having our 2016 History Fair, open to all students K through 6, and there are just some phenomenal presentations. And even if you have something to do on Saturday, cancel it. You can probably hit both. They're across the street from each other. I highly recommend it. Read Across America, Dr. Seuss's birthday. We had administrators, teachers, visitors from outside, alumni coming back, all reading to younger kids. It was a wonderful day, and just something that we are proud to have, and the energy around literacy in all the buildings is exciting and something we want to see. Another piece of excitement, we were engaged, and you'll appreciate this, Mr. Kaczynski, in the virtual state archery tournament. It's not a video game. It's an actual archery tournament, but they send personnel from the New Jersey Department of Fish and Game to each site. And the virtual part is that you compete in your home schools. There's no travel, but you're constantly competing with kids from other schools online. The officials are entering the scores and monitoring and judging. So we did extremely well. We're actually looking to receive the final results from the state in the upcoming weeks. Our kids are all waiting with bated breath. Numbers that we need to talk about. After 1 week, and again, we've been keeping this data for 4 years now, our current registration numbers for kindergarten: Lincoln 32, Radcliffe 36, Spring Garden 38, Washington 57, and Yaletown 58. While Dr. Valline does not have a crystal ball, she does crunch numbers, and correct me if I'm incorrect, if I state this incorrectly, but we could be on target for our best year yet.
Again.
We keep topping ourselves. The AP scores go up, the park scores go up, the enrollment goes up. Everyone was aware, just wanted to touch base again, we had a security issue at the high school that involved the Nutley Police Department a little over a week ago. Responding, they'd evacuated the students into the middle school, and eventually everyone was back on track. I want to thank everyone who was involved, including the police department, EMS, Mr. Nicolette, Mr. Viemeister, both principals, and certainly the teachers here in the middle school practicing block schedule because they were secured in place for quite a while. And the high school teachers who, made sure that our students were safe throughout the situation. It just so happens, a letter went out, obviously I sent it out last Friday. The state chooses specific districts on a random basis. Their Office of School Preparedness and Emergency Training came and visited our schools, and 3 of our schools, unbeknownst to any of the staff members in the school, we started at the high school, came to the middle school, and ended up at Radcliffe School. What we do is they run an announced drill. They grab a team of administrators and teachers to kind of observe the drill with them, and then they give us feedback. So we had a debriefing at each of the 3 schools. We expect to receive the report from them later sometime this week. Overall, I'm very happy with our procedures, but there are definitely things that we need to work on at the district level, the board level, as far as resources and facilities, and definitely training that we know we need to target the staff moving forward. Other than that, a number of important upcoming dates. All I will say about that is please continue to check the website.
Thank you, Mr. Leslie. Ms. James.
On this evening's agenda, there is a resolution approving the tentative 2016-17 budget. This tentative budget establishes the total general fund, special revenue, and debt service fund appropriations, as well as both the general fund and the debt service tax levies. The tentative budget packet and all of its supporting documents will then be forwarded to the Essex County Superintendent's Office for review prior to March 22nd deadline. Between now and the April 25th public budget hearing, the administration and board will continue to work to finalize both the department budgets and the staffing needs for the 16-17 school year. With respect to the 2007 referendum and the resolution that is on tonight's agenda to settle the final litigation, just wanted to give a brief recap of where we are with the available funds. So as of last June, we had about $1.37 million left in the referendum account. Included in that total was an encumbrance that was set aside for this litigation of $578,000. That left $792,000 for any future capital projects. With the litigation settlement being approved tonight, the district is able to restore $478,000 of those encumbered funds, bringing our total available funds to $1.27 million. At the last board meeting, the board approved security projects for both the high school and Spring Garden for $587,000. So we currently have a balance of $682,000 in the referendum account, and these funds are going to be used to complete security upgrades throughout the elementary and the high school buildings.
Thank you. We now come to the portion of our meeting where we allow members of the public to address the board. In this section, we allow questions or comments on only the resolutions addressed in tonight's agenda. Our board regulation 601 allows 20 minutes for these communications. Each person should be limited to 3 minutes, and we ask you to try to stay within this requirement. Speakers may speak more than once only after all others wishing to speak on a topic have been heard. All statements will be directed to me as the chairperson. No one may address board members individually. Please be reminded that if your statement is too lengthy, abusive, obscene, irrelevant, or redundant, your participation may be terminated. Please remember to always state your name and address each and every time you address the board and sign in with Mr. Cuso. Before you take the microphone, the first person can come forward. Seeing none, hearing none, we'll move to resolutions. resolutions. Mr. Sherman, will you take the academic resolution, please?
I move academic resolution 1 and 2. Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Balsamo?
Yes.
Mr. Carnicello?
Yes.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Scalera?
Yes.
Ms. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. Mr. Scalera, will you take administration resolutions, please?
Thanks, Mr. President. I move the administration resolutions 1 through 4 as written.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Balsamo?
Yes.
Mr. Carnicello?
Yes.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin? Yes. Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Scalera?
Yes.
Ms. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. Mr. Ferrara, will you take finance resolutions 1 through 8, please?
Yes, I make a motion to remove finance resolutions 1 through 7 as written, and finance resolution number 8, titled settlement proposal. Whereas the Nutley Board of Education has been a party to the action captions Michael Bloom versus Nutley Board of Education versus DCM Architecture Inc. and DCM Architecture and Engineering LLC, collectively DCM versus Michael Bloom, docket number ESX-L-1368-13, the Bloom litigation. And whereas the settlement conferences were held by the Honorable Dennis M. Carey on December 19, 2015 among counsel for the parties, and on March 9, 2016 among counsel and representatives for the parties, resulting in a settlement proposal at the court's suggestion. And whereas the settlement proposal consisted of the payment by DCM to the board, will pay the board $100,000 in satisfaction of the board's claims against DCM, and the board will pay $200,000 to Michael Bloom in satisfaction of Michael Bloom's claims, and all remaining claims in the Bloom litigation are dismissed with prejudice and without cost, and the parties to the Bloom litigation shall exchange mutual general releases. And whereas the settlement proposal set forth above was placed on the record with the court on March 9, 2016, with the condition that it was subject to the approval of the board by formal resolution at the board's next regular meeting. Now therefore be it resolved that the board accepts the payment of $100,000 by DCM and approves the payment of $200,000 to Michael Bloom, provided that the documents necessary in the opinion of legal counsel to the board are executed, filed, and exchanged.
There's one more part. Next. Okay, I'm fine.
Second.
You need a second.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Scalera.
On resolution number 6, tentative budget, I'd like to ask for the placements in that budget to the business administrator.
At the present time, the revenue for pay to play is adjusted to 50%.
Okay, I still would like to have a discussion. I have a problem with that. First off, and we talk about it multiple times, I've brought up a couple of years, we have things that are still lacking in the sports program. We haven't bought helmets for the lacrosse team multiple years. They went out again this year. I was there again the other day. We have kids in green and white helmets, white helmets. We're playing great schools. We haven't bought helmets in years. I've brought that up. The penny, I know the coach is out, but the pennies they had the other day were horrible, didn't have numbers on them, didn't have things on them. There are things we still need in the sports program before we're cutting funds. We talk about locker rooms and other things in the schools. We talk about, we're advancing volleyball. For the men boys, we brought the second part out to the tennis team. We're splitting the swim team. We have multiple things coming up and trying to go to a new staffing pattern later in the high school. So I would like to still state that on the record.
I just have a question. Have these items been requested and denied?
I have talked to Mr. Pyro, this is my third year, just the other day, about the helmets for the Blue
What was
Cross.
denied?
He said to me they buy them a couple every year. I said, please come, I'll show them what they look like, and I'll show them that it's disheartening. We play these top schools, and we don't even have kids out there in the right helmets.
Just doesn't make sense.
Correct.
It's been an ongoing discussion. I know
That's
through
correct.
a
This is
couple
my
of
third year.
administration for years. I'm trying to refurbish a lot of our equipment. I think they fit it into, try to do the best they can with what they have financially to do it.
But if we're cutting the money, I'd rather replace what kids have paid for, and we're still doing it.
Well, it's my understanding that the player participation reduction will not affect the budget for athletics.
So where does the money come from? What does it impact?
Right.
Well, that was being, the 44,000 was being taken from all different, little bit from each line item. So that no department or no item was affected.
My point is, out of the budget that I'm telling you today, things are still not being addressed. Before cutting this, I want to address the other issues that we have.
Well, and I'm just going to make a statement as well.
Sure.
There was, originally back in December, when we had asked to look at this budget with a reduction, making sure that we didn't affect any one particular part of the budget, we also had a discussion as far as where the funds actually go. It goes into the general budget, it's utilized in general purposes, and that money has been supporting multiple different things depending on the person that you're talking to. So it doesn't have a direct impact on the athletics as a line item. And so when we did this reduction, it was designed to not affect any particular spot.
I'd also have to state that I was just at multiple meetings for freshman parents coming in, and in fact, they said, well, how much do we have to pay per sport? And I said it was $200 for all 3 sports. And there wasn't one complaint, and I probably attend more sport meetings than most of us here at the table in school, but the reduction of one of them was much more than that. So I still don't see a complaint, I don't see a problem, I think it shortens as a long fall, there's work to be done, it's just a statement.
Well, I also think that the pay to participate program should be better aligned with what other districts are charging, at least for those that are still charging. Some districts have actually eliminated it since 2010 when the restrictions were put on by the state. So, finding that balance, I think, is the important part of balancing what the community needs are, not sacrificing the entire program, realizing that we still need an infusion. But the reality is I think that we're trying to find that balance somewhere, and I think that's been the opinion of the majority of the people that, have agreed that we wanted to move in that direction.
And also, like I said, if there are equipment that we need, I'd like to find out, was it requested, was it
Have I talked
denied?
about it, the administrative committee?
I don't want to hear, is there a list of items that they need right now?
I can answer that, I brought it up with the administration committee, the
And
superintendent's been there.
again, Mr. Pyro has a rotating budget. In other words, he looks at the money he has, and he figures out what does he need every year, what does he need every 2 years, what does he need every 3 years, et cetera. Nobody's going in and participating in there that's unsafe.
That's what I'm concerned, he says things are missing, like helmets.
Well, they are, we have no helmets, the kids are going out, 2 kids that just came on, because we don't have helmets, we're not spending $240 for a helmet, besides spending $200. And that should not be happening if it doesn't happen in another sport.
And that, exactly, and there's inequity between sports.
Correct.
That's been going on for a very long time. When we grew again, and a lot of what Mr. Carcel is dead on, the part I do want to clarify is that when we built the budget previously, while the money goes into the general fund, it's built as revenue. And so that revenue line is what we take to build what the athletic budget will be, so as to not cut other things. And this, again, there's only been one answer from the beginning, which is that money coming in supports the athletic program, because prior boards would have simply cut the athletic program and not offered new sports. We would not have grown coaches and program had we not had certain pieces. Again, to Mr. Scalari's point, when we rotate, there are certain sports we don't send any kid out there who's unsafe. But when we have things that don't match, we're sharing JV and varsity pieces. I think part of it is how the kids feel, and now we're the appearance of our team coming on the field against some of these larger programs that have been decked out with bags and all full equipment. And
So
that's
there's no
something we can
safety
struggle with.
concern, we actually have proper equipment for the students.
Because they buy their own, they couldn't wear our current helmets.
And that's part
And
of
we bring one here to a meeting if you'd like to see it, from the basement.
No, that's not the point, I just,
So the kid can't play with it, so the parents forced to spend the $240, because you can't wear the ones we have. I've been talking about it for 3 years.
Well, jerseys are one thing. We've talked about jerseys, and they were pass-me-down jerseys, and second JVs would end up with last year's jersey, which doesn't look nice, but safety-wise, it's not an issue. If it's a helmet issue to where the children don't have a helmet, and you're talking about lacrosse, or you're talking about
Lacrosse.
if children don't have a helmet, then it's our issue, the Board of Education. We need to make sure that our children are going out there safe and secure. Appearance is one thing, safety is obviously
So what I'm saying
something
is,
else.
today we had games, one kid's in white from wherever he played for before, one kid's in green and white, and 2 kids, one parent just told me, we're not spending $240 to buy him a gray helmet.
Supports come in, coaches, the materials that we do need, the transportation and those things. And we, like many other areas in this district, athletics has pieced together the best they can to make sure the kids have.
So before cutting this, I'd rather get a full evaluation of what's needed, like those helmets, to be able to be addressed.
But the budget's not, the budget for athletics is not being cut by 44,000. The budget for
But-
athletics actually increased by
All right,
10,000 this year.
Okay.
It was actually a $10,000 increase in the budget from
But
last year.
if we're increasing it and then cutting pay to participate in half, I saw that we're cutting security, we're cutting teacher supplies, we're cutting professional development. How is that helping the rest of the district? How's that helping the children?
Well, there's been, for the last 3 years, it's been an average of a $1.5 billion surplus at the end of each school year in the budget.
Right, but then we use that to buy additional books, or we buy additional supplies that are sort of like on a wish list. And we save things to help fund things for the next year. So,
Well, some of the needs
I
in
wanna
the
know
athletic
exactly
department
what
was
this
that,
is
some of
cutting.
these programs needed, where we need helmets and we need equipment and things like that. In the 3 years that I've been on this board, I haven't seen that money even come to the table with a recommendation that we need to buy.
So it doesn't come here, but I brought it up in the administrative committee multiple times.
So,
And what I can tell you is that every single time Mr. Pyro has submitted his supply list to Ms. Yeomans on that rotating basis, and we have not heard that these folks have to go out and buy cleats and buy helmets.
I have said it in
and
the
that's my concern right there. And forgetting about whether we're cutting, we're not cutting, the bottom line right now is I'm finding out for the first time that potentially if students got helmets, and that I don't want to hear. That's,
And again,
Well, they're not out, they have to play with their own different color, or they go out and buy one just as they just did.
there's been a long history,
They're not allowed
in
out,
certain,
helmets.
in not in certain programs, that you purchase your own cleats, that you purchase your own helmets, that you purchase your own bags. The booster clubs oftentimes step in depending on the program. Again, that's program to program. Softball is different from lacrosse,
Lacrosse doesn't have much interest.
and that's the issue.
Yeah, that is an issue that we've talked about before. A lot of booster clubs will fund some money. For example, hockey, I think hockey, you need to buy your own stick.
Right. Stick where you buy everything, there's nothing, you only get the jersey.
So they buy a lot of that equipment on their own. It's been established long before we came here. I'm not saying it's right, but that is established, and the booster clubs do help them out quite a bit. But if certainly if it's a safety issue, Mr. Lasnik, I would think you
Well,
would.
and again, that's.
Well,
It's not, my point is, I'm saying it's not safe, because I want to be wrong. It's, they play with the white, they play with the green and yellow, or like the other day, the parent out ball.
They have a safety helmet, but it doesn't match the uniform that they should be wearing at the time.
It's their own personal
It's a
one.
pass down.
It's a pass down from their own.
And just to clarify a little bit, so are they JV lacrosse kids or are they varsity lacrosse? I mean,
So we're all mixed around the field right now, I couldn't answer that, because I haven't been down on the field, we're all mixed.
But to Mr. Scalera's point, there's no consistency between the two levels.
Oh, really? Between?
Right, they play up and down, and this is the first year we don't have a freshman team, so,
Okay.
has Mr. Power been denied supplies?
no.
So anytime that he felt he needed supplies
Yes.
for these programs, it has been granted.
Yes.
But no, something, he fits it into the budget, he had. to
That's
do
all
that.
he is responsible to know
No problem.
what these children need. And as long as he's making requests and he's getting what he needs for his children, I think we can trust the fact he knows what they need.
So for 3 years, I brought an issue up, I brought it live because we're cutting a budget where I think things are still needed, and that's why I'm doing it. It's just a discussion, I'm making a statement.
The point is well made, and we will continue that discussion with the athletic department, I would think, I would hope.
Comes every other month.
Any other discussion? Roll call, Mr. Kuzel.
Mr. Balsamo?
yes.
Mr. Cardicello?
Yes.
Mrs. Stancheck Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Russo?
Yes.
Mrs. Scalera?
Abstain. No, this is number 6, sorry.
Just number 6.
6. Sorry.
Ms. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. Mr. Klein, will you take resolution, personal resolution, please?
Yes, Mr. President, I move personnel resolution 1 as written.
Second.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know.
All right, Coach. We have a second
Second.
discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Balsamo?
Yes.
Mr. Cardicello?
Yes.
Mrs. Stancheck Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Russo?
Yes.
Mr. Scalera?
Yes.
Ms. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. In this section, we allow questions or comments on all school-related matters. Our regulations allow 30 minutes for these communications. Again, each person shall be limited to 3 minutes, and we ask you to try to stay within this requirement. As I stated earlier, all statements will be directed to me. Anyone wishing to come to the microphone? Seeing none, whereas the Board of Education will be discussing matters exempt from public discussion pursuant to NJSA 10-4-12, now therefore be resolved that the Board of Education recess to close executive session at this time to discuss property acquisition and student matters. Be it further resolved that the results of the discussion be made public by inclusion on the agenda of a subsequent meeting of the Board of Education, or when the reasons for discussing such matters in closed session no longer exist. I so move. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.